everyone, and welcome back to Ash of God's Redemption. And let's just continue where we left off. With Lo Pheng and his, well, band of not so merry, mostly women. So where do we want to go? We're gonna continue on the Kimra path, because that is the most straightforward way of getting to the Triple Menhir. So yeah, let's do that. Just off the road, you hear shouting, barking, and muffled growls. You investigate, discovering a huge wolf tied to a tree. It's muzzled, and its hind legs are secured by a fishing net. Okay, that sounds cruel. Several Gellian women hurl rocks at the animal, preparing to set their dogs upon it. A man holding a torch tied to a long stick thrusts it towards the wolf. Seriously? Wow. Ruhr scratches his head. That's some foul sport. It's good for dogs to fight a wolf once in a while, but not if it's bound. That's outrageous. Yeah. Seizing the element of surprise, you slowly draw your sword. Yeah, free the animal. You step before the women with your sword drawn. 3 swings is all it takes to cut the ropes binding the animal. The dogs scatter with their tails between their legs. The wolf limps towards the forest. Silence falls over the little glade. The Gellian women huddle together and the children run into the bushes. The man tries to save his dignity. You look back at your companions. Could this wolf confess the location of its lair? No. Then what's the point in torturing it? The Gel's eyes are full of hatred. It was killing our cattle! You feign surprise. Then why didn't you kill it? To teach it a lesson? Trying to make the wolf swear that it'll never kill cattle again? The Gel grabs a stake from the ground and snarls menacingly. Remind me, why is some squinty-eyed schlep ordering the Gels around? Probably shouldn't kill him outright. Let's see if threaten works. You step forward, striking the Gel below the knees with one fluid swing of your sword. Because he can, you reply, as he topples to the ground. The Gellian women run away screaming. There should be a point to everything, you tell your companions. Nourishment, survival, or enrichment as means of avoiding poverty. But a beast's suffering is pointless. This bastard's suffering is pointless, at least when the other bastards can't see it. You put the wheezing Gel out of his misery. Yep. Definitely do not agree with that behavior. A small procession turns onto the road ahead of you. Mules and half-dead nags drag 2 overloaded wagons. Judging by the color and shimmer of the powder covering the sacks, it's salt. The cargo isn't what interests you. It's the strange-looking vandals driving the horses. Around here, you'd expect Frisians. Hey Squinty, interested in some cash? The vandal sitting next to the first wagon's coachman disdainfully asks. We're delivering an order to Nakoma, the temple advisor. He pays good coin for salt, which he uses to preserve human flesh and blood. He buys people too, dead or alive. You only need to salt the dead ones, so if you have any for sale... Honestly? I'm kind of feeling like I should be playing Lo Pheng more like, going by the choices that I would make, kind of, rather than going by how I think that he would do it. Yeah, this feels just all kinds of wrong. I guess there's, hints of slavery and just weird things. So, yeah, let's, kill the vandals. You shake your head. You talk too much for your own good. I don't know why Nakoma needs so much salt, but he'll regret his choice of supplier when it never arrives. The Vandal gives you a scornful look. What do you mean it never arrives? I'm licensed by the temple. I'm untouchable. You dart between the two wagons, then look back to watch the slashed bodies tumble. A warrior of peace doesn't honor temple licenses brandished by scumbags. Regardless, it'd be a good idea to search the bodies. Ooh, nice. Some gold. And, well, not many, but some Strixus. Alright, let's keep going. Because, like, the thing with how I play Lo Feng, I mean, I know I made mistakes. I shouldn't have killed the red-headed woman and stuff. Should have played things differently back at the capital, I think it was. But, yeah. So I'm trying to make up for that. Just like how I'm trying to make up for the misses I made with other people. Anyway. A man dressed as a junior Frisian commander sits on a rock by the roadside. It's only when you get closer that you realize he's dead. Stiff fingers clasp the hilts of two daggers that pierce his lungs through his rib cage. Buzzing flies have been drawn by the sickly smell of decay. The embrace of death, you whisper. Shannon cries out in surprise and makes for the corpse. You see the Strix-encrusted captain's insignia on the dead man's chest and a satchel on his shoulder. Its lid held tight with a piece of string. The marauders haven't yet desecrated the body. That's prevent the looting. Seems the most respectful. You shove your sword into its scabbard. The woman stops in her tracks, looking bewildered. This is a suicide of honor, you explain. Whatever this warrior is guilty of, cowardice, thieving, or slandering an official, he cleared his slate before the gods. Sooner or later, Gels will come and loot the body, but we won't do it. You can tell the woman doesn't understand. The pendant on his chest and the satchel on his back are there for a reason, you continue. The marauder who claims them also claims the dead warrior's sins. He'll arrive at the god's altar with a burdened soul. Let's not tarry. Shannon recoils from the corpse. Her fear of the gods exceeds her greed. She thanks you with a nod and you carry on with your journey. Ooh, nice. An hour later, Shannon asks you why. Why did he do it? To cleanse his spirit, his reputation? You weigh your words carefully. I know one thing. Whatever this Frisian is guilty of, by killing himself, he's ensured that his family will receive support, and his children will be allowed to attend temple school. So it was the honorable thing to do. Let's keep going. Your warrior wenches whisper among themselves and cast glances your way. Finally, one of them approaches you. You wait for Swarty's question. Listen, Akon, she hesitates. I wanted to ask about women on your island, but first, tell me, do you have slaves? I mean, I don't see why I wouldn't be honest here. So describe the slaves on the island. You see genuine curiosity in her eyes and decide to answer truthfully. We have very few slaves. Peasants tend to their own fields, women to their children, craftsmen to their trade. We only need slaves to train our warriors. Swarty's eyes widen. You mean you killed them? You shrug and try to think of the answer. I mean, she seems too taken aback by that to tell the truth, so let's just try to lighten the situation by laughing it off. You decide to laugh it off. Oh, we used to temper acorn blades inside them. We'd nourish and pamper them for a year to fatten them up. For most of them, it was the happiest year of their lives. Swarty grows pale. But you don't do it any longer. Why? You sigh. We've switched to pigs since slaves are too expensive and some acons aren't big on human flesh. It's the urine-like aftertaste, I believe. For a moment, Swarty gapes at you, then smiles and walks away. A burst of laughter confirms that your joke went over well. Good. Hey, morale! Awesome! I want to continue. We definitely needed that. The road weaves through a thick growth of nut trees and elven wood. You can smell the smoke from a nearby Gellian village. Without warning, a stone flies from the shrubs, accompanied by children's laughter. A veritable hail of rocks follows, some of which are rather hefty. Keep to the other side of the road? You stick to the other side of the road. It's too far for the bigger rocks to reach, and the smaller ones are no threat. You've soon left the thickest underbrush behind, and with it the jeering and the rain of stones. Doesn't always have to be, action. Everything doesn't require that. You notice a prostrated merchant near a dry well at the roadside. Several bundles lie near him. He's alive, but exhausted. Stealing his belongings wouldn't befit a warrior of peace, but you can't trade with an unconscious merchant. Bring the merchant to his senses. You ask Alice for help, and he says a prayer for the sleeping man. A few minutes later, the merchant wakes up looking rather healthy. It turns out that his horse fell and he hit his head. He managed to bring the sacks to the well, but when he saw that there was no water, he got desperate. He's very grateful for your help and gives you a small strix for your trouble. You can also trade with him now. Well, let's buy that. Ooh. Yes. Yeah, let's buy that. Problem with his group is that I don't know how many of them will be sticking around. But let's go here. I want to... Oh, right, I have people to level up as well. Okay, well, let's continue. Yeah, let's continue to the Triple Menhir. Unless we get something on the way. Oh, doesn't look like it. The Drowsy Deep is a very peculiar location. 700 years ago, a great battle was waged at the Triple Menhir, turning the deep into a lifeless desert of bones that crunch under horses' hooves. Nobody can linger thanks to the poisonous air, yet here you are, riding toward the three menhirs. The three sacred stones peek over the horizon. Pilgrims call them the fingers of the gods. The Palian scans the wasteland ahead. I see Commander Norris is still in position, or is that someone else? Hard to tell. I see warriors loitering by the sacred stone, but it's not a whole legion, thank the gods. Is it true that all menhirs become poisonous during a reaping? I hope my commander didn't touch this one. You still can't quite identify the warriors at the menhir. They are tall and of unusual build. Their faces are masked. Enses, most likely. You remember reading about them in the Shadow Clan manuscripts. You must confront them, as they're much more dangerous to Pelko Satori than some Legion commander. There's no time to lose. Yeah, something like that. Nice. Okay, well, let's move you up. Well, interesting. Let's move people up. Okay. All right then. Let's get rid of some fools. Might as well do that. I am poisonous. Hopefully that does something. Well, none of them are really going to reach, so let's do that. Are we bugged? Okay. That was easily fixed. The game was like, wait, what? There's no one left? In the aftermath, Ruor addresses you. The commander of Norse. He's done for. These outlanders cut him and his guards down. He didn't have the money he promised. He tricked me. We should leave now, Akon. The Frisian legions approach from the north. They'll not be happy to find us here. You step on the Witchblade's shard. The swords have lost power with the deaths of their outlandish wielders. Unfortunate, they would have made fine trophies. Pelka Satori's final enemy, who craved command of the Frisian legions, died at the hands of the Ensis. All that's left to do is wait for your client and his next order. Okay, well, guess we're gonna talk to people. Who do we want to start with? Let's work our way around. Loitering forlornly beside the menhir, Alice, the monk, casts wary glances at the dead Frisians and Ensis. He seems disinterested in arms and trophies. You address him. How do you know that we should not touch the menhir during reap time? And how did you discover that we should stand between the sacred stones? Did they cure your weakness? Alice shrugs timidly. What's there to know? There are only two places like this in Terminum. There's Triple Menhir and the Double Menhir somewhere near Ursus. Every monk knows this. It is common knowledge that standing between the stones is much preferred to touching them, he hesitantly adds. Today I learned why. I saw the dead Frisians by the menhir and knew that touching it is what killed some among them. Ask him where he would go were he traveling alone. I'd burrow into the ground and wait until it's all over, says Alice, terrified. Alice suddenly remembers something. My brethren encountered a sorcerer on the Kimra path on occasion. He claimed to be looking after a menhir, but that's bullshit. There are no sacred stones in the area other than the reclining menhir, and it needs no minding. You turn around and leave without another word. Alright, let's talk to Candy. Candy does not take her eyes off you. Perhaps you should talk to her. Candy looks troubled. She keeps checking her weapons and counting beneath her breath.
Listen, Akon. We've wasted enough time here. We should leave.
It is too late to leave.
Why's that? The Frisians are not here yet. Why should we wait for them?
They are already here. 3 legions close in from 3 directions. This is their rendezvous point. We could deal with a patrol or 2, but not 3 legions.
I don't understand. What are you implying, Akon?
I shall wait for Pelka Saturi. He assumes command of all 3 legions, which you and I served him on a silver platter. Do not flinch. I know you have no reason to like him, but he promised to protect any who aid me.
I'd not trust a word he says, but I'm no Akon, let alone an Akon warrior. Perhaps he'll not dare trick you. I suppose I should share the good news with the others. Tell me, why do you need us?
There is no choice, Candy. The alternative is death. And no, I have no use for you. None of you, but I have no use for corpses either. Sorry, bit, very morbid, but yeah. And cold. Okay, Shanat quarreled with Bolla. You could ask Shanat what it was about.
What is it, Akon? Here to question me about the little argument with Bolla? Just sit back and enjoy the show. You realize that if I wanted to kill her, I could do it with a flick of a finger.
What was the argument about?
Could be about you. You don't believe me. Well, all right. I saw a ruby earring in a Frisian's ear, so I cut it off, ear and all. But guess what? This whore told me off, told me I shouldn't defile the bodies.
You remind me of a peacock, fanning out feathers and flaunting. No fight nor flight, doing everything poorly, but looking good doing it.
Just remember, Akon, a crazed peacock is no less dangerous than a rabid wolf.
They shoot rabid wolves from a distance. Same goes for foxes. Alright. Hello, Doom. A short distance from the others, Doom stands rooted to the spot. Is he considering returning to Frisia? What are you staring at, Akon? I'm the same old Doom. I'm not being opaque. I just found out that you finished off that tortured girl in the Wodan days, and it made me sick. You could stay here. And do what? Fraternize with the Gels? They'll have me turning a grindstone at the mill, and then bind me to it and throw me off a cliff. No, thank you. I'd rather go with you. Whatever you do, the choice is yours. You have some time to make an important decision. I am here at Pelka Saturi's bidding, and I will travel with him. This is your chance to return to Frisia. The Count promised that he will protect those aiding me. You've struck me, Akon, with something really heavy. I can't think straight. Let me collect my thoughts first. Think, but time is short. I can't help but wonder if what they say about menhirs is true. If someone is ailing, they should walk between the stones. Obviously, you should not touch them. Like patting a rattlesnake it is. You will not know unless you try. Alright. Shanna quarreled with Bola. You have already heard Shanna's version of the events. Bola hides her face when she notices you. You did not intend to go around moralizing, but you have no desire for tension in your party.
What do you want? Have you never seen a girl fight? Trust me, there will be more. We grab hair and knock out teeth. You'll not hear me complain. You're not here to wipe our noses.
I saw her lunge at you.
She was showing off. She's hot-tempered and quick to flare up. She knew there were men watching. Men love a good catfight, so I told her off. A fine excuse. Shannon is so fetching in a fight. She's better than I am.
What happened to the ruby?
A ruby? Did she tell you that? I couldn't care less about the ruby. Have you seen the Inquisitor's collection in Wodan? Shannon has it now, and she's expanding it. She also took the torture tools. I wonder what's driving her.
I have no inclination to fuss over you.
Don't fuss then. We could have killed each other, so what? You'd get on your horse and ride away. What are we to you?
I shall do exactly that.
Keep that in mind. I'm not perfect. I detest this so much that I could kill.
If you wish to kill, do it.
Hey!
I'll take your words to heart, Akon.
You turn to see Shanna looking at you with poorly concealed anger. A roar scans the horizon. You wonder what he is looking for. Listen, Palion, what would you say when offering to serve Frisia? You jest. I could never return to Frisia. No torture is sufficient punishment for all I've done, even though there were no witnesses. I might still go if I hear the clink of coin. How about serving under a commander of 3 legions? So you chopped up those Frisians for a reason, eh? You're kinda like me then. Why'd you not say so earlier? I'm with you. I set my mind on Burkana, but it won't miss me. Tell me though, of what use am I to you? We will soon be at war, Ruhr. Many things can happen. I have the Count's word that those helping me will be rewarded. I should keep my mouth shut about this, should I not? Fine, but I'd like you to arrange the same for our lovely lasses. Do you know of a shortcut through the steppe? I know no shortcut, but I've seen the Kimra disappear in that arid land with my own eyes. One moment you see a whole group, but by the time you climb a hill, they're already out of sight. It's rumored that they're aided by a wandering menhir and a sage that looks after it, but I know naught else. You nod and walk to your horse. Okay, Swarty is clearly upset. Should this concern you? You approach Swarty and notice water skins behind her. She is either thirsty or in the middle of cleaning herself up.
Whoa.
A woman can't find a place to wash without being watched. I stepped behind the menhir, but Ruhr was doing his business there. That man has no shame. He beckoned to me.
Ask the other women to hold a piece of cloth as a screen while you wash. How is your neck?
It's no worse. It burns, of course, but the pain eased after I walked between the stones. They restored my strength, to be sure. When will the ulcer disappear?
When the reaping ends, or when we all die. Try to ignore it for now. We need to save water. Better to stink than to die of thirst.
Don't speak for everyone. You'd not sheath a notched and gory sword, would you? My body's much like your sword.
Just as fast, you mean? Swarty turns red, stutters to say something, and falls silent. Okay. Well, don't think I have anything to... Oh no, someone did. Some people did level up. Okay. Well, might as well go through, or pass under the menhir. Perhaps the menhir still has some healing power? There is enough distance between the 3 menhirs to walk between them. You walk between the sacred stones, careful not to touch them. A divine force washes over you and you suddenly feel at peace. Your wounds are healed, your mind settled. Seeing that you are unharmed, the others follow. Sure. You walk between the sacred stones again, yet nothing happens. It appears that the menhir's powers are completely drained. Alright. I guess we'll wait for Pelka Satori. If there's nothing else to do, you can wait for your client.
Not everyone made it to the top. But among those who did, nobody managed it by sheer luck.
Yeah, I guess we're back to Hopper Ruley. Okay, well, I am going to end this episode here. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider leaving a like and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Bye!